Alright, today we're in a 2010 Scion Xb. I told you guys I would upload a video of the LED swap because the orange is kind of ugly. So I'll start off by showing you guys how to take out the gauge cluster and everything you need to know as far as inside the car. So this right here, this panel just pops right off like this, if you guys don't already know. There's 4 screws that need to be popped out right here, 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 and here. And then after I pop these out, I'll show you how to undo the wiring. This right here pops out. You want to pull it down at an angle on the bottom, lift it out. Make sure to turn your key to the off position before you do this, obviously. There's 2 clips. This just pops out. And there you go. Then we'll go in and I'll show you the other stuff. Alright, so when we got it in here, we'll first start by taking off this part. There's going to be clips you got to pop in. Right here. Flip it over. There's going to be 2 smaller ones on the bottom. Okay. You can pop this off. Put this aside. Alright, then after that, you want to start removing these back screws. Alright, then whenever those are removed, you just pop these, set them to the side. This back piece comes off. Alright, and that will expose your board. Right now what you want to do is you want to remove the black tabs, the black part on the front. So I like to put pressure on like the white piece over here, and it pops right off. Turn it over, and then remove it. Now, what you want to do is you want to take the silver part off right here. Now you want to be kind of careful and ignore the electrical tape because, you know, why not? You want to be careful whenever you're removing these right here. So they have a bump stop on every single one of them. So what you want to do is what I think is the easiest thing to do is use whatever you actually really want to use. It don't matter. But I usually will put like a dot to mark where I want these to go back to, because you have to reset the bump stop whenever you're done. So I put a little dot, that way you can't see it. If you want to take it off, you don't have to use it permanent. You can use anything you want. But what you do is these basically, you know, turn it counterclockwise, and you want to pull up a little bit, not too hard. And just keep turning it like so, and it pops off. I put these in on the table like in an order in which I got them all from. We'll continue doing these. They just pull up a little bit. And like that, they're off. So now what you can do is you can pull the faceplate off, put it to the side for now. On the bottom of this, there is one of these plastic pieces that draws the light through. You can just stick it to the side as well. All right, so now we're going to come to the back, and you're going to see that there's two clips, one right here and one right here. So what I use is a little flathead or whatever price hole you want to use. It doesn't really matter. And you'll want to pull up. Right here. And then it'll pop that away from it. And then I'll just kind of go around it like so. And then come over here, get the other clip. What I do is I'll pull up on this a little bit, pop it above it. Now these, for your LCD, there is going to be pins, so you just want to make sure that you're kind of careful pulling away from it. If you bend one, it's fine. You can just readjust it like this. There's that. So the pins, if you can see them, right here. Make sure to not lay those pins face down. All right, so here's your board. This is what we're wanting to get to. All right, so after doing this, I did all of mine with the blue LEDs, and from what I kind of noticed is, if you're using a stock faceplate, I would only probably do your LCD screens, only because these, during the daylight, you can't really tell that you have changed the lights because it's still orange. At nighttime, when it's really dark, it will become an aqua color, which is kind of cool, but I can put links or put pictures up in this video as well, what it looks like with the stock faceplate. But like I said, I would just mainly change out just for your LCDs. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So these three right here are going to be for your smaller LED. The top ones is your left, right turn signal. And then this right here is going to be for your high beams. So the only thing you'll have to do if you're going to be doing what I'm doing today is replacing just the small LED ones, or LCD, and then your bigger ones as well, which the big one has 6 of them, and then the small one has 3. So we'll get that adjusted on there. All right, so you want to get the PCL2s, which is from osnium.com. I'll post the link in the description. They will come in like this. They're really, really small, like really small. So what you want to do is if you want to do that like this, you can, but you want to make like a tester. So what I did was in these right here, if you can see, there's a notch right here at the top. All right, that means it's going to be the positive. So on all of these right here, there's a notch. Okay, you see the arrow? The arrow is representing the direction of your positive. So your positive wants to be up here, and then your negative down here. So I made this. I seen it on a different video, and basically I just used like a battery. It's a battery out of like one of my keys. That's all you really need. You can use any type of wire, it doesn't really matter. All right, so then you take these, you'll touch it to the bottom and top, and that shows that it's good. All right, so now that you have that, your tester made and everything. All right, so I'm gonna start on the small LED ones. I'm gonna start on the first one. All right, so I'm gonna try and get this to where you guys can see. The first one right here. What I'll do is I'll touch it at the bottom. I'll get it warmed up. Whenever the solder gets warm, just pop it up. Like that. So now what I'll do is I'll flip the board over. Bring it to this side. I'll push this down a little bit, get it hot on this side, and push it off. And boom. So now what I do is, the easiest way that I found to do it is once you pop that off, all this solder is going to be built up. So what I do is I'll just do a little back and forth to kind of get it to even out. Because if your LEDs are not even on the board, it's going to show when you put the faceplate back on. So I'll just put it right here, kind of move it outwards like that. So, okay, so anyways, so now that that's kind of like even, what I'll do is I'll grab, you can use tweezers, you can use anything like that. I use like a Cricut weeding tool, but they do at like Dollar Tree sell some exact kind of like this for $1. I mean, whatever you want to use, it's whatever, you know, it's up to you. So then what I'll do is make sure the arrow and everything, you see that it's pointing up. So what I do is I get my LED, and I can see that the notch is up. All right, so anyways, I'll position this the way, like where I want it. And then I'll heat up the bottom before I put it on there, like this. And you want to make it centered. Basically what you're wanting to do is put a tack on it, like I did there. So it's not like a perfect connection yet, but what I did was I put like a little tack on there. That way I can go to the other side and get a good connection, and then I'll just come back and I'll add a little solder to it. So I'll flip it over. And I make sure that it looks like it's straight on the board by looking down. And right here it looks great. So what I'll do is I'll get my soldering, some more solder. All right, and then I added it to this side. I'll flip it back over. I'll add some more to this side right here. And there you go. that's one of the LEDs out of the however many you're wanting to do. So then I'll take my tester and I'll touch the soldering points. And boom. So you're going to want to repeat the same thing. I'll do one more just to show you again in case it was hard to see. And then I'll go ahead and do these, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done. And then again, even it out. Tester. Okay. All right, just for a quick update, every one of them is done. I got the big LCD, the smaller one. I went on ahead and made these more orange from the other ones that we had left, and then I made this a brighter blue for the high beams. I also changed out like the brake light and stuff like that. So whatever else, what other ones you want to do, that's upon your discretion, I guess. So now we're gonna go ahead and put it back in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the front piece, and on this one you want to be careful because these have to slide back in. So what I do is, as I put this down and I'll easily lay it on top, you'll hear them kind of crinkling around a little bit, and then it falls in. So you don't want to do any pressure until you feel it fall in. And then you just push it all the way on around the sides. And then it clips in on that one, and it's clipped in on this side. So we're going ahead and start by putting the back on completely. So let's lay this back on, and you'll put your screws back in. Okay, so whenever you're putting these back on, I would start with these three and don't tighten them all the way down because you have to put the face back in before you can actually screw the rest of them in. So, all right, so another thing I want to show you real quick is this right here. If this pops up, there's two clips right here at the bottom. These two clips right here. Go on ahead with your fingers and just press this down until these clip in, because if whenever you go to tighten this up, if the pins aren't pushed all the way down and locked in, when you put the faceplate on, it'll look like a hill, and you don't want that. So, and after this is all fixed right here and pushed down, locked in. Make sure to place this back into the right spot. Put your faceplate back on. And whenever you get your faceplate on to these, you want to make sure that these lock in to the faceplate itself, like so. And then you'll give it a push over, like that. So now these are locked over the faceplate. So then you'll take your needle, you'll put it in the center, and you'll push down. It'll click. So what I do is you have to set your bump stop. So your bump stop's right here, and I made the mark right here. So what I want to do is I want to come over and turn it clockwise, move it back. It's still not there yet, so I'm going to have to come back over clockwise a little bit more. Move it back. I went too far. So now that since you're too far over, all you got to do is just push it back. So then clockwise, back. Need to adjust it just a little bit more. Right there. Perfect. Okay, so then go to your other one, do the same thing. You'll put it in here in the center, click, turn it over. You want that, your bump stop to be right here. Perfect. That's where I marked it. You want it that on that spot. Put this back in, push down, it clicks. Perfect. All right, so when all this right here is back to where you want it, then you put the plate back on. Some people, I watched a video where they tried to like do that with this plate on. It's just gonna bump into this and you might break your needle, and then you'll be in more trouble than where you want to be in. So now that this is on, go ahead and get the black piece, and this will go like so, and then it'll click in on both sides. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put this plate back on. Make sure that these go in the hole. And do not press on this hard until you realize that all of these are in here, or you'll snap one off. You got to be very careful about that. This part right here is not in all the way, and neither is this back piece. Want to make sure and get all that lined up. Like so. And then you just click it all the way around. And it's back together, and all you gotta do now is put your screws in. Alright, reinstalling it's pretty straightforward. You just put everything, there's only 2 clips. The other side. Clip. Now whenever you're putting this in, just grab these 2 wires and click it. Little brute force, no big deal. And then just put it in like this. Make sure that these all line back up. I got it. All right. And there you go. That's the LED conversion. Like I said, personally, I think that with the faceplate being orange, I'd probably keep those orange unless you got a different one. But yeah, it's pretty easy. My soldering is not the best, as you guys could probably tell, but that just goes to show that it's really not a hard task for somebody that's kind of inexperienced with using a soldering gun or iron or whatever you want to call it. I'd say go on ahead and give it a shot. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. If you mess up, you can fix it. Just don't put like a hole through your board, but other than that, you're fine. So thanks for watching the video.